Hello everybody, it's Anne from Anne's Stampin' Up. Welcome to another card making day here in Simcoe, Ontario, where I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. If you live in Canada and you don't have your own demonstrator, you can shop with me. You can reach me at StampsNTea@gmail.com, or my demonstrator website is StampsNTea.stampinup.net. So today we're going to use more products from the new September to December mini catalogue. Lots of lovely products in there, lots to choose from this time. This one that we're going to use is called the Sweetest Star, and it's a bundle, and it comes not with stamps and dies, but stamps and a punch to punch out the star. So star punch is always a handy thing to have. So let me turn the camera down and I'll show you everything we need to make the card today. So this is the Sweetest Star stamp set. It has some nice snowflakes, some sentiments, and 3 little star shapes that you can use the punch to punch out. This is the punch, and it punches them out perfectly. You've got a gingerbread cookie, you've got a Mr. and a Mrs. Santa Claus, and as I say, some sentiments and things. We're also going to use the scalloped contours dies. We're going to use the second size die. These are not new dies, these have been around a while. We are going to use this one today. So let me just stick that out of the way. And this, of course, is the new mini catalogue. We are going to work with the stamp set on page 47. This one, the Sweetest Star bundle, stamp and die, stamp and punch. We're going to use a piece of paper, this piece of paper with all the candy canes, and it's from the Snowy Scenes package of paper. We've used this before. It's the one that has all the snow globes in and the beautiful papers and lovely colours and plaids, penguins, everything you need. So this is the piece we're going to use today. We're going to do some heat embossing too on the gingerbread cookie. So let's get started. What do we need to make this card? We've got some real red cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and it's going to be tent fold. It'll stand up. We've got a piece of pecan pie to stamp out the gingerbread cookies. We've got the DSP, which is 5 1/4 by 4 for the front. We've got a piece of real red to cut out using the scalloped. It's the second largest scalloped rectangle die, I think is what it's called. Got an envelope. Oh, and we got a tiny little piece for the sentiment on the front, and we've also got a scrap of white to stamp Mrs. Santa Claus on. We've got some alcohol markers going on. We've got real red, mossy meadow, I believe. Let me see, real red, mossy meadow, real light pink, dark basic grey, sorry, dark basic black, and light smoky slate. That's to colour Mrs. Santa in. So let me just put those over there. We've got red ink pad, we got a memento ink pad, and we have Versamark for the heat embossing. So let me do the part with the heat embossing first, so that I can get it out of the way. So let me move the envelope, and I need to bring in my scrap here of paper, and I've got my tray of goodies here for heat embossing. I'm just going to wipe my embossing buddy over the paper. You don't need to pounce it like this, you just want to rub it across just to save any static. And I like to just give it a flick to get the dust off the back. We're going to use basic white embossing powder here. And what else? We need the Versamark pad. We need we need the cookie, the gingerbread cookie stamp. And let me just see, where can I put that? I seem to be all out of room today. There. So I'm just going to stamp 1, Oh, nice. And 2. Lovely, they stamped nicely. And then I'm going to take my white embossing powder. Now this is not the new Wow embossing powder. This is just ancient old white embossing powder that I've had forever and a day. And I've just got a little bit that I can see, so I'm just going to dust those little bits off because I don't want them to stick to my pattern. A little bit there. This is just a regular paintbrush I'm using, and that looks good. And then we'll pour this right back into the jar out of the way. Some days it all works really well and other days it doesn't, but today I'm not going to jinx it by saying anything. There. Now I've got my heat gun down here, and I'll have to turn the heat gun on. I want to warm it up for a minute or two, and then I'm just going to heat my cookies, and we'll watch the powder melt. And there it's starting to go, you see, around the top of, the top of the cookie. And do the next one. And just go over the whole thing just once or twice, just to make sure you haven't missed any little spots. And if you turn your card, you can see if you've missed a little bit, but I don't think I have. I think I've got most of it. There. So we'll just give that a minute to cool. Put all of this out of the way. Hope it stays there. Hopes that can go as well. So now we need to stamp a Mrs. Santa Claus, and we're going to stamp her in Memento Black on just a scrap of basic white cardstock, which I have here. So Memento Black, and we can do this while the embossed piece is cooling. It doesn't really need to cool, but sometimes your card bends when it's not quite cool. So I'm just going to pop her down there like that. Lovely. Stick that over there. Let's get the lid on this. You know, while we're stamping, we might as well carry on stamping. We've got somewhere a little piece of Mossy Meadow to stamp the sentiment on. That's going on the front of the card, and this sentiment says Baking Spirits Bright. There. Baking Spirits Bright. We've done that. And what else do we need to stamp? We need a sentiment for the inside of the card to go on this 5 1/4 by 4, but we're going to stamp that in real red. And that is going to say, wishing you a holly jolly Christmas. And I'm just going to stamp it right across the middle of the card. Lovely. There now. So we've done all the stamping. We've done some heat embossing, some stamping. We've done a little bit of everything. So now we might as well colour Mrs. Santa Claus, Mrs. Claus. We've got lots of nice colours here. So let's see, we can do a face. Well, let's start with the bigger area. We want light real red. There it is. Light real red, and we're going to do her apron in light real red. Now I know I tend to stop talking when I'm colouring. I'm going to try and carry on talking. There's not going to be any real shading on this because we really don't need it. But and you know, when you use your alcohol markers, you know, you don't need to go right to the edge because it does bleed just a little bit. So if you've got a little tad, you know, a little spot of white on the end, don't worry too much about it. So now we've got some light mossy meadow. Whoops, let's use the fine point. Light mossy meadow, and we're going to colour her in green. Now I'm just going around these little scallopy parts here, like that. Light mossy meadow. And the colour sort of melts together when it dries. Same on this side. Just like that. There we go. What else do we want to colour in green? I think we're going to give her all green. I don't know if I'm just going to leave the white as white, the white around her collar and the white frill on her apron. I'm just going to leave them white. I'm not going to colour them at all. Around this one. Gosh, this is a lot. Got some light grey hair. Just pull the end off. Just a little bit of light grey hair. Around the swirls there. What else do we need to colour? Yeah, a little bit of black. Just not sure why I'm doing black on there, but there, that's it. And a little bit of light pale pink, light petal pink. I'll just colour her face. That's a very pale pink. It's probably a perfect colour for a face. There. And that, my friends, is it. Okie dokie, so now we're going to punch these stars out. We've got Mrs. Claus here. I'm going to punch her out first. Let me see, can I line that up a little better? There we go. There's Mrs. Claus. Oh dear. Oh, there she goes. And then we've got 2 gingerbread cookies. Same again. 1. And 2. Let's get rid of the garbage. Okay, and now we're ready to put this card together. All right. So let's see. Yep, that's nice and dry, and we're going this way. So let's work from the inside. Now I've got a lovely new glue gun here, and it isn't Stampin' Up. It's called My Sweet Petunia, and I did see somebody else using it. It's got a lovely nozzle on it, fine tip nozzle, and it's great. It comes with a stand. This is the stand, and when you're not using it, you can put it in there like that. I wondered what this knob on the front was for, couldn't think, but it holds the top of the glue bottle. Isn't that amazing? It's the little things that please me, I tell you, the little things. Alright, where's my glue mat? My silicone mat, there it is. And I am just going to show you how this works. It's just a trigger, and you just go right around the outside. Gives you a lovely fine line of glue, which is nice, because I'll tell you, I'm struggling with glue bottles. Whoops, we need to spread that. Just putting a little bit like that, pop it on the stand for a minute. Check which way my card goes. It goes this way. There. Just like that. We've got some DSP for the front. I'm going to put that on there like that. Same thing. So this is going on here like this, and then I'll have to do the part I forgot. There's always one, always one. Wouldn't be right if I didn't forget a part. So this piece here we forgot to cut out with the, I forgot to cut out with the die. So I'm just going to run over to the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I'll be right back. There we are. So that's a nice cut out piece. Put the die back on the magnet so we don't lose it. Right, and we'll carry on. So we're going to put some glue around here. Pop this in the center, right in the center. And I'm not measuring, I'm just eyeballing this. I think it'll be close. And it's liquid glue, so you have got a minute, you've got a second or two to slide it if you need to. Okay, so there we have that. Now we've got some Santas and cookies to put on. We're just going to use dimensionals to put those on. 3 will do on each one. At least on the cookies we're going to put 3. Okay, so we've got one cookie going here like this. Yeah, let's put them up there. Got another cookie. I'm going to stick him down on the corner here somewhere. And then we've got Mrs. Claus. She's going to go right in the middle. I think maybe on Mrs. Claus I only need 2. So let me just pop that on there. Let me see, where is she? Okay, we'll put one at the top and one at the bottom on Mrs. Claus, because she's going to rest. The sides of Mrs. Claus are going to rest on these 2 pieces here, you see, so we don't really need too much. We don't need 3 dimensionals is what I'm trying to say. Let me put her in the middle. Like that. And then we've got Baking Spirits Bright. Now that's a little too long, so I'm going to trim it. So I'm going to cut it off at about 1 3/4, I think. There. So it's about 1 inch wide by 1 3/4. Might be 1 1/4 by 1 3/4. And then I'm just going to notch it in the middle. Do one side this way. Now we'll turn it over so we can see what we're doing. Do the other side this way. Back off the dimensional. Whoops. Get rid of that piece. Now we'll stick this here. just way. Doesn't look straight. There we go, just right there. And then we've got some beautiful little real red and white adhesive backed peppermint gems, and they're from the, I think these are from the reindeer suite, the regal, not regal reindeer, reindeer fun, I think it's called, one of the new reindeer sets this year. And we're just going to pick up these. They come in, there's 1, 2, 3 different sizes, so I'm just going to pop some on the middle of the cookie for buttons. You sometimes get a little bit of putty sticking to your gem. There we go. Two and 3, and maybe we'll put a bigger one on Mrs. Claus, just right in the middle of her apron. There we are. Oops, let's get that little bit off there. There we go. There we are. So there's one really sweet card. That's it, everybody. That's today's card, made with the Sweetest Star stamp set. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week.